Hi, Jose.
We've got the squad news update. It says for Harry Kane, he's commenced on-field rehabilitation. Is that ahead of schedule? Is that pretty much on schedule as you expected?
I would say a little bit ahead. It gives me a hope of, instead of 1-2 matches, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. Just speculating a little bit, but the feelings are good. He's doing what he can do at this stage, but always with a good feeling. Sometimes follow the protocols and then some step backs because of not the best feeling on this action or that movement. Everything is going well. He's having very good feelings. So positive, yeah.
Have you both got a game in mind that he could possibly target?
No. When he was injured, I told for me, I forget him. Then I told you, let's see, 1-2 games, Crystal Palace, Leicester. In this moment, I have better hopes than that. So hopefully that feeling is right, and they can help us in the last part of the season.
What's his mindset like? Do you get the sense from him that he is pushing to just get back as early as possible?
Of course, in the club, people knows him much better than I do. For me, it's 3 months. In here, years and years. Every time he has a little problem, he's that kind of guy that doesn't accept protocols, doesn't accept a date, a fixture. He always tries to go ahead, so he's the kind of guy that you must have a very good control and a very good communication, because the feelings of the players, the mentalities of the players, sometimes they break protocols and sometimes they bring them earlier than expected. Happened with Hugo. So Hugo played a couple of weeks before we could expect. So let's see with Harry, but he's obviously a great professional and a fighter, and he wants to be as soon as possible. But what is that as soon as possible? I don't know.
I was wondering if you could clear something up around Heung-min Son. There was some talk that he could possibly be back earlier, possibly could play with a cast on his arm at some point. Is that something?
That's another hope. But of course we are far from it. He's coming back to England very soon. Then of course we will have to follow some safety protocols, because obviously he flies from Seoul, and then when his recovering process started, we are going obviously to try all the possibilities to have him back for some matches. And again, I cannot imagine when. I'm not going to risk when, but there is a good possibility that before the end of the season we have Harry and Sonny playing together.
From a Dele Alli point of view, I just wonder, is he likely to accept that charge, or is he likely to request a private hearing? What's the situation with that, and how do you feel about the charge?
Look, I forgot it. I forgot it because it was so long time ago, and after an obvious and clear and immediate public apology, I just forgot about it. Somehow, a couple of days ago, somebody made me remember it. But in this moment, I don't want to make any comment.
What are the reasons for that delay?
I don't know.
Okay, just on obviously a lot of focus on the coronavirus at the moment. What advice have you as staff and players been given?
The normal advice is that I think come from the authorities, come from the government. I'm not going to make any comment. I am nobody. I am no specialist. I just get the legal advices and what my club gets from authorities, and of course we follow everything. That's why I'm saying that Sonny, when he's back from Seoul, we will have to follow the protocols, and we are not going to have him immediately here.
Where will he be, and what do you mean by that? Will he just be away from the
I don't know how to be specific with that. I just know that we have to follow some safety protocols.
And how do you feel when you look at some of how it's impacting on the sporting calendar, and you see games being called off and matches being played behind closed doors? I guess, is it just a case of monitoring that government advice to see if that happens in England?
I think we should be very cautious with our words, especially people like me, that I'm not in control and I don't have enough knowledge to advise anyone. I just have to accept decisions from authorities and decisions from the people that has much more knowledge than I have.
Just on coronavirus, I think if you've got any more questions on that, happy to sort of provide you with that off camera afterwards, just in terms of what we're doing. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, just a final question on the Wolves game, and what response have you had since Chelsea, and how do you assess the hopes for top four at this stage?
It's an open fight. It's an open fight for many clubs, and of course we and Wolves, we are involved on this fight. It's 1 point difference between us. Is 4 points difference to the fourth. Man United is there, 1 point ahead, something like that, and Sheffield, I think, same points or one behind, and Everton and Arsenal, and it's a big fight. It's a big fight where every match, every point can be decisive, and we have to fight for these points. And Wolves, they are not there by coincidence. They are not there by luck. I think they are a fantastic team, really, really, really good team. So big match Sunday.
2 weeks ago, you used the analogy of clinging on by your fingernails, the battle to get fourth place. Last week, were a few more of the stairs kicked away from you by Chelsea?
Yeah, but I think this week we had time to work specifically the strength of our fingers, so we can be there. We can be there with a more solid situation to fight a difficult situation that we know that we have, but we know we are going to fight, and especially now that we have hopes that our attacking power later rather than sooner, but they will arrive still on time to give us some help. It's about trying to survive, and to survive is to be there. Is probably not to be on the fourth position, is probably not to be on the fifth, but if we manage to be 1 point behind, 2 points behind, 3 points behind, we just need to be in contact. And then, because I think this is going to last until the very last, until the end of the season. So we need to fight for every point, and now it's about Wolves, a team that is 1 point behind us, and we know how difficult it is going to be. But I think this week we prepare ourselves very well for this match.
Earlier in the season, you said that Nuno was a better manager than he was a player. I know you were joking.
I'm joking, but I'm serious. I think he was a good keeper, but I think he's a very good coach. So I really think that he's doing a fantastic work. We are in a generation where sometimes coaches, they get jobs and nobody knows why. In his case, it's just about his work and prove how good he is, and prove that, in my opinion, I hope that the Wolves fans and board, they forgive me. I think he has conditions for bigger. So I hope that one day the bigger comes, because he's doing a fantastic work.
I mean, he hasn't got your charisma. He's a nice enough guy. He hasn't got your charisma.
What's that?
Fun.
Charisma and character doesn't win matches. What wins matches is the potential that you have. What's that charisma? There are so many charismatic guys that they don't even, they think the ball is squared. Come on. Nuno is a very good coach, very good.
And finally, it's the start of what is a big kind of week, 2 weeks for you with Premier League, the FA Cup, which I know you're
and the Champions League.
And Leipzig.
Yeah, it's a big week. Last week we felt very difficult because we had to play 3 matches in a row, and of course our squad in this moment is a squad with some difficulties. Especially we are not in conditions to make rotations and to rest players and to be stronger in some match than some other. In this moment we are what we are. We have 16, 17 players that are always selected for matches, so it's going to be hard. I can imagine that when we arrive on the 4th match of these 10 days, and the 4th match will be a knockout one, even with a possible extra time to be played, I think we are going to arrive there in our limits. But let's not think about it. Let's think about Wolves. And at the Wolves game, we arrive in a good condition after a good week where we manage to rest and to work really hard and to be now waiting for the game.
Thank you. Did you want a question?
Yeah, just a couple. 19, 20 matches into your time here. If you were assessing the time that you've had here, how pleased are you? I know obviously you've had massive injury problems, but are you pleased otherwise with how it's going?
I'm pleased. According to the circumstances, I'm pleased. Of course, independent of the unlucky situations that we had with injuries, independent of that, I always want more, and I always realize that we have to improve in so many things. But according to all the difficulties, because we are not just speaking about some injuries, we are speaking about big injuries, and every player is important, but there are players that because of their status, because of their charisma, they are more important than others. So when you lose Hugo Lloris and Harry Kane and Moussa Sissoko and Son, really, really hard. But every day that we work is going to be an important work regarding the future. I know them better, they know me better. I think when you go through difficult moments, is very hard, but at the same time, you can learn a lot about yourself and about the others. My experience before Spurs, the only experience that I had of coming to a club in, I think was January, was in Porto, and that half of season was so strong. But then the next season was very good, and the next season was historical. So let's face this difficult moment for everyone, not in a dramatic way, but fighting for what we can fight this season. We can fight. We can fight, and then next season will be a better one, I believe.
Go to Charlie.
Just wondering, Jose, when you, after your first game, West Ham, you talked about playing with a positional midfielder and a passing one. And in the last few weeks, it's sort of playing almost without a conventional positional midfielder, like wings and the Celso. Just wondering if you could talk like how you've made that work, like that sort of pairing without classic positional midfielder.
Without?
Yeah.
No,
Not like without someone like a Dyer.
It's a more offensive way to play. So don't be critical. It's a more offensive way to play. Is a way to try to compensate a lack of attacking power. So if you don't have the goal scorers that can score goals in very few occasions that you can create, you can be more solid. If you don't have that, you have to try to have people more creation, people that can try also from behind to have a more forward thinking instead of be the typical player that recovers the ball and keep it simple and lateral passes and square passes. Is somebody with a different vision, somebody that, for example, Lo Celso can arrive, can create, Ndombele can arrive, can create. Winks, I think, is improving a lot. I think he thinks much more forward than before. He tries even the area of his movement. He was much more positional than he is now. Now you can see Winks on the left, on the right, doing that. So he's trying to compensate problems that we have with a different perspective.
Okay, finish with Abby.
Jose, has Eric Lamela been able to train with the squad this week? Still not.
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero training sessions with the team.
Is that kind of lack of confidence himself in his body?
No, he has a problem, but I believe that Sunday he will be on the bench, and he will give us again what he can, and the talent is there, the desire is there. Amazing guy, amazing professional. So in normal circumstances, you don't train, you don't play. In this moment, in our attacking areas, you don't train, but you can give us something. Thank you very much for that. So he's not training. I believe that tomorrow he will be training with us, and I believe that Sunday he can be on the bench and give us his talent for 20 minutes, for 25, but we need his talent.
Okay, can I just ask you about Steven Bergwijn? Played in a more advanced role, kind of centrally quite a lot on Saturday. What did you make of it? He's obviously fought for everything, but what do you think of him as that more advanced player?
It's not his position. It's as simple as that. It's the same thing that you take Davinson Sanchez and you play him right back. He tries everything, but he's not a right back. It's the same thing. You play Vertonghen left back. He's not a left back. He's a centre back. Can he play left back? Can. He helps. That's what Steven tried to do in the game against Chelsea, and I think he didn't do better because he was under huge fatigue of 90 minutes against Leipzig. Because if he could be fresh, he can give us much more movement than he did. He can be much more aggressive than he was. So he tries.
Sorry, just one more from Stanley, just there.
Jose, Jurgen Klopp has described Adama Traore as sometimes unplayable. What have you made of his performances, and do you regard him as someone that you might have a special plan to stop?
It's very difficult to stop. If you want to stop on a sprint with him, you just forget it. You have no chance. So you cannot think about him as an individual. You have to think about him as a whole. And of course, it's very, very difficult to stop. He's so fast, and he's so not just fast and powerful. That is very, very difficult to stop. And he had a great evolution with Nuno in the past couple of seasons. In this moment, he's a better player. My former assistant Karanka was his coach in Middlesbrough, and at that time he told me immediately, I have this boy that when he understands the game better and he has time to technically improve, I have a guy that is going to be unstoppable. And okay, unstoppable is a hard word in football, but he's a very difficult player.
I'm rich, diamonds on my body rich, smelling like Versace rich, Jay-Z and Beyonce rich, I'm rich, diamonds on my body rich, smelling like Versace rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich.